If you're looking for some easy summer dinner inspiration, you're in the right place. Today, I'm sharing everything my family of 3 ate for dinner this week. During the summer, I like to keep meals simple, fresh, and low stress. You'll see a mix of quick weeknight dinners, family favorites, and meals that don't require spending hours in a hot kitchen. Whether you're meal planning, looking for new ideas, or just wondering what to make for dinner tonight, I hope this video gives you some inspiration. Let's jump into this week's dinners. I am starting off with the meatballs for this dinner. And I'm going to mix 1 pound of ground beef with 1 egg, half a teaspoon of Italian seasoning, half a teaspoon onion powder, and half a cup of seasoned breadcrumbs and salt and pepper. Just a little bit of salt and pepper though. For these breadcrumbs, I actually did make these from scratch, and how I make my breadcrumbs is the ends of my sourdough sandwich loaf bread, I dice those up and put those in the freezer for whenever I need croutons or breadcrumbs, and I toss them in a bowl with some olive oil, with some garlic powder, onion powder, sometimes some Parmesan cheese. Although since we are a dairy-free household, I try not to put Parmesan cheese in them if I know that my baby is going to be eating them. Then I'm just putting these into, I can't even give you an exact size that I did. I just did probably about small to medium. I didn't want super large meatballs because I am going to be putting this into a sauce. So if I was making meatballs for a meatball sub sandwich or meatballs on their own, then I would have made them a little bit larger. For the sauce, I am using a jar sauce, but I am going to try to hide some carrots in the sauce. So I shredded about 6 baby carrots, or about half a cup of carrots, and then I also diced an onion as well. I think hiding vegetables in spaghetti sauce is literally the perfect thing to hide them in, especially if you have picky eaters or if you just want to get more veggies in. This is the perfect way to hide them without anybody knowing, because you don't really taste them, but you're still getting some of the benefits from them. I put my meatballs in the oven at about 425. These were in there for probably about 15 to 20 minutes. I didn't want to cook them all the way because I knew I was going to be simmering this in the pasta sauce as well. I'm going to pair this meal with some garlic bread, so I am taking some dairy-free butter, about half a stick of butter, and I mix this with some garlic powder and some parsley as well. I also drizzled in a little bit of olive oil to help mash the butter a little bit better. My butter I did not pull out of the fridge in time, so it was still kind of cold, so that's why I'm having a little bit of a difficult time mashing it here. For the garlic bread buns, I had leftover hot dog buns that were sitting in my freezer for probably about a month and had nothing in the nearest future that I was going to use them with. So I figured that this was the perfect way to use these hot dog buns up. These are just regular yeasted hot dog buns I had made. I am just smearing some of the butter spread on each part of the bun, and then I'm sprinkling some with dairy-free mozzarella cheese and cheddar. My husband's not a big fan of dairy-free cheese, especially when it melts, it kind of is like a glue and a little bit weird. So I didn't put the cheese on all the pieces of garlic bread. I popped these in the oven at the same 425. I left these in there for probably about 10 minutes, just until they were nice and crispy and the cheese was melted or looked somewhat melted. Here I am just putting some beef tallow in a pan, and this is what I am going to saute the onions in, and I'm also going to put the carrots in here as well. I put the onions in here for the first probably 3 to 5 minutes just to make sure that they were soft, and once that I saw that they were translucent and starting to cook a little bit more, I threw in some minced garlic, probably about a teaspoon I would say, and then the carrots, and I let this kind of cook for, I would say, probably about 3 minutes, just until it was kind of wilted and mixing together well. While the vegetables are sauteing, I went ahead and threw in my spaghetti noodles. I only used half a box of spaghetti noodles because we don't use a full one. Once the vegetables look good, I am adding in my jar pasta sauce. I did also add some basil to this sauce. I started off with adding some dried basil that I had, and then I realized I had fresh basil in my freezer that I had just picked from my garden. So I also added some of that as well. And then I let the fresh basil kind of wilt in the mixture and mix in a little bit, and then I added my meatballs. I turned the stove on low and I let my meatballs simmer for about 10 minutes, stirring every once in a while to make sure that nothing stuck to the bottom of the pan. Steak is definitely a luxury item for my household. Due to the price, we don't really get it often, but when we can snag a deal, we go for it, and we ended up getting a deal on this steak right here from Costco. To prepare it, we decided to cook it on a cast iron skillet instead of using the grill. I set the steaks out for about 30 minutes prior to cooking to allow them to rest and kind of come to room temperature. And then I patted them dry with a paper towel. And you will actually see my brother cooking these steaks. He loves to cook steak and he said, "Move over, I have this one." So he seasoned it with garlic, onion powder, the steak seasoning from Kinder's, and some black pepper. I'm gonna be honest, I was extremely hesitant with the amount of seasoning he put on both sides of these steaks. I definitely thought he might have ruined them, and for the price, I was a little scared. But I will say that these steaks turned out so flavorful and just delicious. I heated up a cast iron skillet and then put in some beef tallow and let that all melt before I put the steaks in. Now we cooked the steaks for about 4 to 5 minutes on each side to get a medium well steak. That's just how my family likes it. And then we also, once we flipped the steak over, we also put in some of my homemade garlic butter and allowed the steak to kind of cook in there. These steaks had such a nice char and crisp to them. It was so tender and just honestly perfect. I smeared some more of that garlic butter on top of it and cut right into it. Yeah, I think this one is going to be a lot better cutting than the other.
Yeah, that's good. Is that too much red?
That's good. I think that's good. And then I put the steak on a salad, so I just got a bed of lettuce. I put some honey roasted nuts on it. I sliced a hard-boiled egg, put that on there as well. Dusted just a tiny bit of Parmesan cheese and some homemade croutons. Put the steak on top of that and drizzled it with some olive oil based Caesar dressing. This meal was phenomenal. Dinner tonight, I plan on using the leftover steak that we had last night here. I don't have too much left over. Tonight for dinner, I thought it would be really fun to switch it up and do a loaded steak fry. Loaded fries with steak. I don't really know how you would word that, but I think it would be fun, something different, switch it up, and still, you know, summery. So that's what we're gonna do tonight. Awake. Actually, I think I'm gonna do diced potatoes instead of fries. Diced cook a little bit better in the oven. Yeah, I think we're gonna do some diced. Are you okay with that? Yeah. You want to say hi to everybody? Say hi? Yeah. I'm gonna drizzle oil on these. And then I always do my potatoes with these exact spices every single time. I do garlic powder, onion powder, and paprika. This combo is just so good for fries. And if you ain't sneezing, it ain't seasoned. That's at least what I go by in my kitchen. Yeah. Now I am going to attempt to make something I have never made before, and that is a dairy-free cheese sauce, like a liquid cheese. We are dairy-free in my house because of my baby having an allergy, so we just decided to make the entire home dairy-free just to make it easier, and that way there's nothing that he can't have. So I found this recipe for a vegan dairy-free cheese sauce with coconut milk and nutritional yeast. There is not any dairy-free cheese in this whatsoever, so that's a little interesting, but I have her nutritional yeast is like a cheesy flavor. So I'm hoping that this turns out. We're gonna give it a try. That's all we can do, right? Oh yeah? Half a teaspoon of onion powder, a fourth of a teaspoon garlic, and just a hint of paprika. Okay. That says to stir this and bring it to a boil, constantly stirring. Okay, well it's not boiling, but it's getting kind of clumpy. I don't know if it should be doing that. And stirring it. We're not at a boil, we're just... It's a little clumpy, a little iffy on it. This is what we are working with. I don't know if you can see that, but it's interesting. I mean, it's not real cheese. I have to keep telling myself that. Dairy-free is a whole nother creature, I'm telling you. It is a challenge. So if you could find a good recipe, stick with it. So let's hope. I kind of want to try some of this, actually. Let's try some. This is gonna be so hot. Well, it's close enough. Am I getting the cheesy flavor? It tastes like buttered popcorn. I'm gonna be honest with you. That's what I'm getting. Buttered popcorn instead of cheese. Our potatoes are looking delicious. Gotta chop some of this steak up. Do bite-sized pieces. What? You want some steak? It's a little chilly right now. It's a little cold right now. I actually got the idea for the steak fries because there used to be a barbecue restaurant by the house that I grew up at, and they had loaded brisket fries. And then they made their barbecue sauce in-house. Those were the most amazing fries I've ever had. They were so good. I think about them all the time. Unfortunately, that place has since closed down, so I cannot go and get those fries anymore. So I don't have brisket, I have steak, but that's kind of the inspiration for these fries. So for these, I am going to, that was dangerous, wow, okay. I'm going to air fry the steak, but since I already cut it up, because I did not want to cut it up after I fried it, I am not going to have it in here as long. I think I'm gonna just put it on at 350 for, oh, I guess I didn't cut all the pieces, super tiny. I'm gonna put it in at 350 for about 3 minutes. We'll start there. That looks good. I guess we're gonna do some dollops of this cheese. I'm actually gonna only, I think, do this cheese on half of it. And then I am gonna sprinkle some of this. This is the best dairy-free brand of cheese that we have discovered. And we've tried many questionable ones. But again, I think I'm only gonna do it on half because my husband is not a big fan of this cheese. So I'm not gonna put it on all. I'm gonna do. Okay, I'm gonna start off with 2 cans of full fat coconut cream. I think the recipe called for coconut milk, but I had gotten coconut cream and not really realized it, so that's what I'm using. Coconut cream is nice, it's already liquid. I feel like all the coconut creams I buy in store are already, half of it's solidified, half of it's not. The question is, what's in, oh no! Spilled that. Okay, and then we have half a cup of maple syrup. Do about half a teaspoon of salt. And 1 tablespoon of vanilla extract. About. Okay, now we're just gonna put this on the stove for it to like melt down, but it's already melted, so. Okay, so I think I might have messed up. I'm not really 100% sure. I did not freeze my bread loaf pan that I'm going to use to put the ice cream in. The recipe I was following, it said that if you didn't have an ice cream maker, which I don't have, that you just skip the freezing step. I feel like that could be wrong. I don't know. First time making it, so we'll see. We'll see if this works out. I know it's gonna have to freeze for at least 24 hours though, especially since I did not freeze my pan. But I am going to do a s'mores ice cream. So I have some homemade graham crackers I'm gonna put in there. I have some marshmallows and I have some mini chocolate chips that we're gonna put in there as well. I don't really know how much of each ingredient to do, so we'll just do it until it looks good, I guess. It's good for marshmallow. That looks good. Now I'm gonna go ahead and pour it into my pan. I just noticed that I just put heavy ingredients in liquid, so I really hope that the toppings don't sink to the bottom. This is all trial and error. I have no idea how this is gonna go. I've never done this before. If I had a machine, I could churn the ingredients with the ice cream, but I don't know. We'll see. I'm gonna freeze this for about 24 hours, so we're not gonna be able to have it tonight for dinner, but we'll be able to have it tomorrow. Is our staple pizza dough in our house. It is a sourdough crust. It does take a little bit of time to make. It should chill in the fridge for about 48 hours. So I made this way earlier in the week and I let it chill in the fridge until I was ready to bake it. I will link the video of the pizza dough recipe down below. It is honestly probably the best sourdough pizza recipe I have tried. So what I tried to do with this is I will coat the dough in flour, put it on the counter, and then push out starting in the center, going out to the edges of the crust. And then I'll pick it up and kind of, I don't know, stretch around the edges of it, moving it along the entire circle, and then I'll flop it back and forth between both my hands to kind of stretch it out. If you notice that the dough isn't cooperating with you, you can just go ahead and let it rest for 10 to 15 minutes and then resume trying to stretch out the dough. I promise you, it makes a world of difference, especially if the dough is kind of fighting you. I always like to sprinkle cornmeal on the bottom of my pan that I'm cooking the pizza on. It just adds such a delicious crunch to our pizza. And I do preheat my pans in the oven, with the oven I should say, because I find that it just crisps up the crust a lot better and gives it kind of more like a brick oven type of feel to it. A hack if you make homemade pizza is to put it on parchment paper and cut the parchment paper around it to fit the dough size. I find that whenever I stretch out the dough on the counter and then put all the toppings on, sometimes it sticks really bad and I cannot get the pizza off the counter and it ends a sloppy, horrible mess. I am speaking from experience. So I always like to put a piece of parchment paper down and then do all my toppings, and that way I can just grab the parchment paper and slide it right onto our pan. I did cook these at 425 degrees and I did kind of mess up. I was supposed to cook the dough for 5 minutes in the oven before I put all the toppings on, but I totally forgot to do that.
Oh no!
I was just so focused on getting dinner ready and on the table. So I had to cook the pizzas a lot longer because I didn't do that pre-bake. So I think I had them in there for about a good 20 minutes.
I'm thinking I really want to try to make some hot honey to go on the pizza. I currently do not have any hot honey, but I love drizzling some hot honey on a pepperoni pizza. It is so good. So I think we're going to try to make some. Okay, so for the hot honey, we're going to mix in 1 cup of honey. And then we're gonna add 2 to 3 teaspoons of chili flakes. I'm gonna do 2.5. Oops. And then we are gonna do 1 teaspoon of apple cider vinegar. Actually, we're gonna do 1.5. 1.5 teaspoons of apple cider vinegar. And we are gonna bring this to a simmer. Okay, now we are gonna turn it off and remove our honey from the heat and let the flavors soak in for like 10 to 15 minutes. Now I'm just going to strain the honey mixture. Start off with 375 grams of all-purpose flour. And then you're gonna do 5 grams of baking powder, 5 grams of salt, 1 cup of warm water, and then 79 milliliters of any neutral oil. You can even use butter. It's like a mini. Then I actually like to give mine a good whisk or mix, I guess you could say, before I mix it in my KitchenAid. It goes a lot quicker if I just take a minute to do this versus a couple extra minutes. I'm gonna put this in my KitchenAid mixer with the dough hook on and let it go for a minute, just until it's soft and supple. Okay, this is what it should look like. It should be nice and smooth and not sticky to the touch. Like I can touch it and not have anything on my hands. I did have to add just a tad bit more flour because I did add too much oil. If you add too much oil, that could happen for sure. Okay, you want to make sure to coat your surface with flour pretty well because the dough can be sticky when you're working with it. I like to also coat my hands with some flour too. Okay, so for normal size tortillas, like I guess a little bit bigger than taco size, it's going to be about 83 to 89 grams. You should get 8 tortillas with this. So I just take a bunch of dough in my hand and pinch to release it. And I'm gonna weigh it. That's 90 grams, so that's good enough. And then I'm gonna roll it in some flour. I'm gonna take the corners and I'm gonna fold it underneath like so. And then once I get to the bottom, once I'm done folding it, I flip it and just kind of pinch it together. Put it on the counter. Let's see, can you see this? Put it on the counter and do like a circle motion like this. That was in flour, so that's not gonna. And then just flour some part of my other counter and I let it sit in flour. That was a lot of flour. And then flatten it down while you're letting it rest. And just repeat that through for the rest of it. I should be wearing my apron. It's 100 grams, it's too much. Take that. If your dough is too sticky to the point you can't even work with it without it getting all over your hands, you could really flour the surface and really flour your hands, but it might be difficult to roll out. I would suggest just adding a sprinkle more of flour and letting it mix in the mixer just a little bit longer. But don't add too much because you don't want stiff tortillas. Now we're just gonna cover and let these tortilla dough rest for 15 minutes, and we're gonna be warming up our skillet while we're letting it rest. This is probably gonna be the easiest dinner in this video. This dinner is a staple in my household. It is so delicious and it turns out so juicy and perfect every single time. I think we actually have this dinner. Oh yeah? You wanna talk to the camera with mommy? We actually have this dinner about once a week, if not every other week. So what we're gonna do is I have my Instapot. I'm just gonna put a little bit of broth in here. I would normally do chicken broth, but I don't have any chicken broth. I have beef broth that I reused for another meal, so I'm just gonna try to use that up. Is that a little weird? Maybe, but it'll be fine. I'm just putting enough to coat the bottom of the pot so nothing sticks while it's cooking. Now we're gonna go ahead and add chicken. I'm just using 2 chicken breasts. I think it's just over a pound of chicken. I'm just gonna throw these in whole. I'm not gonna do anything. The great thing about the Instapot is you could use somewhat frozen chicken breast too. I wouldn't do fully frozen, but the nice thing is if it's a little frozen, it's totally fine. You want to talk to the people on the camera? You want to talk to YouTube? You want to tell everybody everything? What do you got to say? You got to tell them. The seasonings are super easy. Everything is a teaspoon. So I'm just gonna go in with a teaspoon of garlic powder. If you don't use garlic powder, you can use 2 cloves of garlic. Or actually, I think that's 1 clove of garlic. A little bit of garlic never hurt nobody. And then I'm also doing a teaspoon of onion powder. If I didn't wanna do onion powder, I would just dice up probably a small to medium yellow onion. I prefer to not have the onion chunks in here, so that's why I don't put that in there. And then a teaspoon of ground cumin. A teaspoon of paprika. Buddy. And then a teaspoon of chili powder. I'm actually gonna only do half a teaspoon just because my 1-year-old is going to be eating this as well and I don't want it to be too spicy for him. So I'm just gonna do half a teaspoon to get the flavor in there. And I don't mix up the seasoning, I just kind of let it sit there and then I will turn my Instapot on. And I'm just gonna select the poultry setting for 20 minutes and then we're gonna let it go, let it naturally depressurize, and then shred it up. Okay, the key with tortillas is make sure your surface is floured pretty well and also your rolling pin, because if it's not, it's going to stick to both items and give you a wonky shape. So I'm gonna grab our dough that we have been resting, and I'm just gonna flatten it out, put my rolling pin in the center, roll up with barely any pressure, put it in the center again, and roll down. I'm gonna grab it and flip the tortilla the other way, center, roll up, center, roll down. And then I'm just gonna repeat this until I get my desired shape and size. I should have been wearing my apron. You don't want these to be too thick. If they're too thick, they are not going to cook evenly and it's just gonna end up cooking longer and being a crispy mess. So make sure you roll them thin enough. See how you can tell the flour isn't like fully on the table and it's sticking in one area and then causing kind of a wonky shape? That's what you don't want. Then you're gonna do 30 seconds on this side, flip and then do 20 seconds on the other side.
Thank you so much for spending time with me in my kitchen this week as we prepared a week's worth of delicious dinners. I hope you're leaving feeling inspired and excited to make these meals for yourself and your family. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to hit that subscribe button, give it a thumbs up, and leave a comment below. I'll be back with a brand new video every Wednesday, and I can't wait to cook with you again. Until next time, happy cooking.